all started to become a bit more than just body snatching. Hello, I'm Dr. Peter Persil, Director of the Random Horror Madhouse. I treat many patients. So, I have here in this file a case of real-life horror for you. And that real-life horror, I thought this month I would share with you the Ed Gein case. Ed Gein is one of the most notorious killers probably known throughout history. His crimes bizarre and grisly, yet they inspired fictional horror. So let's see. Born as Edward Theodore Green on the 27th of August 1906 and died July 26, 1984, aged 77. Ed Gein was brought up mainly by his mother. His brother lost in a forest fire, and when his mother died, he pretty much became a depraved loner. Now, if you ask me, he grew so lonely that he had to channel his frustration out on something. For me, I would say that he was, well, extremely lonely. The issues with his mother and his loneliness clearly inspired the fictional character from Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 film, Psycho. Living in the town of Plainfield, Wisconsin, he was pretty much known to the locals as a quiet, harmless man that just lived, well, kept himself to himself. But no one had any idea of the evil, the darkness, the sinisterness that lurked beneath. Between the years of 1957 and 1958, Ed Gein, well, the horrifying discoveries were made. Other names such as the Butcher of Plainfield, his victims, mainly two women. Ed Gein at first started to dig graves and rob them, mainly taking their bones and skin to make furniture. Of course, what eventually it all started to become a bit more than just body snatching. He killed one victim named Bernice Warden, a hardware store owner. She was reported missing around that time, the time when they made the discovery of Ed Gein in 1958. On that day, her son went looking for her. Eventually, she was seen last with Ed Gein. When the police went to search his house, he was not there. They did not bother to look what was in his house. It was only then when another woman was reported missing, Mary Hogan. So, these women seem to have all been seen last with Edward Gein. So eventually the police searched around a bit more, went to see Ed Gein again, but he was not there. When they went into the barn, which was dark, they made a horrific discovery. A headless body hanging in the barn. Horrified by this, the police got a search warrant and searched his house, and what they found was something that would only ever be seen in the horror films. But of course, it was real. Ed Gein's house was seen to contain many demonic things, horrific things. Finding bones and human leather made into furniture, chairs, lampshades, the top of skulls made into bowls, mainly the bodies of women. Also making the discovery of Mary Hogan's face made into a mask, a nipple belt made out of human nipples, and of course many gruesome things. It was not for the faint-hearted, I can tell you that. So, eventually, when they got to one room that was locked, they broke in, dreading what they might find, and what they found was a room, untouched and gathering dust. It was Ed Gein's mother's bedroom. They discovered that Ed Gein was making some sort of a female woman bodysuit to create the illusion that his mother is still there and that he would dress as her from time to time. Of course, this inspired fictional killers, like I just said earlier, Norman Bates from Psycho, based on his issues he had with his mother and his relationship with her, wanting to dress like her, even be her. And of course, another fictional killer, Leatherface from the 1974 horror film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that inspired his creativity in human bones, human leather, making furniture. And then, of course, we had Buffalo Bill from the 1991 horror thriller The Silence of the Lambs, which inspired by his lust to become a woman and creating a female bodysuit. When Ed Gein was arrested, he was put on trial and put as insane, spending the rest of his life in a mental institution. He would just lay down and look up at the ceiling, no one knowing what he might be thinking. But I think we know that he was clearly probably thinking about the things he'd done over the years, his sick crimes. Ed Gein passed away in July 26, 1984, aged 77, after dying with cancer. Because he loved his mother so much, they saw it fit that he gets buried next to her. And of course, sometime later, the tombstone was robbed and unmarked, and to this day has not been put back, even though it was found. The case of Ed Gein. He was a strange man, but probably to him was not strange. He was lonely, but was he aware of his illness? We do not know. All we do know is that he was an insane, lonely man that just missed his mother. Or was he something far more than that? The answer to that is we don't know. But in my medical opinion, he was clearly, well, a loner, depraved, and so lonely. He had hallucinations of his mother, maybe. But who knows? This has been the Dr. Persil Treatment, and it has been the case of Ed Gein. Join me next time when I will be discussing the case of another killer. A real-life killer that inspired horror. Because the horror that is the most terrifying is the horror that is real. Even though the horror that is fiction is not so scary, but when it is based on truth, then it is.